What's up guys and welcome. You're watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the list of the men's open bodybuilding superstars that are gonna be guest posing at this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro in about 6 weeks time now. So the very first thing to notice here is that the former Mr. Olympia, Brandon Carey, isn't there. And the fact is he has been missing from that list for 2 years in a row now. So him not doing this guest posing also makes his attendance at the Dubai Pro highly doubtful. Because Brandon Carey is now at a stage in his career where he has to do longer preps in order to maintain what he has already built. So the Dubai Pro is scheduled to be held in July, so about 16 weeks away now. And obviously he did not confirm it, but he hinted that he's considering doing an overseas show. And the only show that really makes sense here is the Dubai Pro. And the main reason is the prize money. Plus Brandon, as we all know, does his prep in Kuwait. So if Brandon was to do a show before the Olympia, the Dubai Pro would have made perfect sense. So Brandon Carey is playing it really smart right now. He knows that he isn't getting any younger. He knows he is 41 years old. The main thing that is going to cost him now is his health. And that is why we have seen him in the last couple of years, that he doesn't stay that big year round. In fact, he cuts back on everything post-Olympia. So we do want to see Brandon bring his best at the Olympia 2024 because he was admitted to the hospital just 24 hours prior to the Olympia last year. And that certainly affected his ability to come in as round and as big as he can because the peaking process, the carb loading process was disturbed. And he did look pretty damn impressive leading into the show. So let's see if Brandon Carey does compete before the Olympia. So some other competitors like Nick Fokker, he totally makes sense. In fact, Nick is gonna be the star of the show because he's gonna be in a contest ready condition. And it will be an absolute treat to watch him guest pose just a week out of the New York Pro. So this will give us a pretty good idea how he's gonna show up at the New York Pro and also a glimpse of what to expect from him at this year's Mr. Olympia. A lot of focus will be on the improvements regarding his quad sweep because if you guys remember, that was the most discussed topic leading into Mr. Olympia last year until he tore his hamstrings just a couple of weeks before the show. And since he lost the Arnold Classic title to Samson Dauda that year, his legs from the front, his quad sweep was the main point of focus throughout that Olympia prep. And almost everyone agrees that if Nick Walker can't bring up his quads, he is definitely going to be a Mr. Olympia title contender. And talking about Samson Dauda, he is obviously going to be there guest posing at Pittsburgh Pro because we have seen that he loves to guest pose. I think the only guy who does more guest posings than Samson Dauda is probably Hunter Labrada. And if you guys remember, Samson Dauda was there last year as well, at the same stage. And although he was running nothing at that time in 2023, he still looked pretty damn awesome. And we just saw him guest pose this past weekend. So I'm sure this time he is gonna look a lot bigger. Because this time he is just coming off of a competition. So I think he is gonna be in a much more solid condition this time. So the most surprising name in that list is obviously the former 2 times Mr. Olympia, Big Ramy. So 1 year ago, Big Ramy graced the same guest posing stage after losing the Olympia 2022 and placing 4th at the Arnold Classic 2023. So some of his fans to this day still believe that Big Ramy was penalized for not showing up at the Pittsburgh Pro 2022 when he was being advertised as the top guy before the guest posing. And rightfully so, obviously he was the reigning Mr. Olympia at that time. So that really hurt the promoters of the show, because not only Big Ramy did not show up, but he did not give any explanation. But now Big Ramy committing to this guest posing, that is such a good sign for the bodybuilding and all the fans in general, as this is gonna put him on the map for his big return, for his big comeback to Mr. Olympia stage in October. And according to Big Ramy, it really doesn't matter where he places. And that is also the case for bodybuilding as well. It doesn't matter where he places. He's still one of the biggest names in the bodybuilding industry, and his attendance will give the Olympia a lot more engagement, especially because of his fan following from Middle East. So we only saw a few updates from Big Ramy this year. So is he still working with Chad Nichols or will he work with another coach? So Big Ramy is on the record saying that his Arnold Classic 2023 physique, that was one of the best looks of his entire career. And he was able to accomplish that with the help of Chad Nichols. So the Olympia this year is going to be really interesting. The reigning Mr. Olympia Derek Lunsford is going to be the leader of the pack. And as professional as Derek is, we all know he's going to show up in a very impressive off-season condition. So that Pittsburgh Pro guest posing in 2022. That is where it all began for Derek Lunsford. That was such a life-changing moment for Derek when he just shocked the entire bodybuilding world by showing up with those cartoonish kind of proportions. And that same year he got the special invite and he placed top 2 at Mr. Olympia. So now he's going to be guest posing here for the very first time as a Mr. Olympia champion. And this time all the eyes will be on Derek, how much improvements he has been able to make since the Olympia last year. And especially how he looks standing next to a guy like Nick Fokker, who has been calling him out, and who has been so vocal that he's gonna steal that Mr. Olympia title from Derek Lunsford this year. So the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding, Andrew Jack, is getting his opportunity to guest pose at the Pittsburgh Pro, and this is gonna be the first time he's gonna be there. And considering that he's prepping for Dubai Pro to earn his Olympia qualification, of course, I think he's gonna be in a great shape. We have already seen the off-season updates of him in the last 2 weeks, but he doesn't even look like he's in the off-season. So this is gonna be a big year for Andrew Jack, and this current off-season that he's having will also give us a clear view about whether he is ready to take that next big step and challenge a big guy like Samson Dauda at the Olympia this year. So the biggest variable regarding Andrew Jack when it comes to him being a Mr. Olympia title contender is his age, although he turned pro just 2 years ago. But the guy is 39 years old. So if this guy was any younger, I think all of us would agree on this, that he is gonna be Mr. Olympia in a couple of years. But still, I have to say, even with his age, he is the most dangerous guy in that Olympia lineup. He has the most potential out of all these guys, but only if he can bring enough thickness in the side of his legs, and if he can bring up his back. He has Mr. Olympia written all over him from the front. So the Pittsburgh Pro is gonna be a very good preview on how far this guy can go. So lastly, we have Hunter Labrada, who is also invited here, and he fully deserves it. I mean, the guy is currently top 6 in the world. And right now, even all of his critics agree that this is the best Hunter Labrada by far ever since he turned pro. So we just saw Hunter Labrada guest pose this past weekend, where he looked the biggest and the leanest he has ever been in his entire career. So he is on a roll definitely. And he is on a mission to prove something big this time. So the Pittsburgh Pro has always been a great event in the IFBB Pro calendar year. And that really sets up the tone for the upcoming Mr. Olympia. And I think this is gonna be also another good one. So last year, we really saw Hunter Labrada dwarfing a lot of people at the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. And I'm expecting the same thing this time as well. Charles Griffin announces that he is taking the whole year off, and he isn't gonna step on stage this time, mainly because he had a big task ahead. So I'm sure all of you guys know by now that he tore his pec last year, pretty much at the same time. I think it was probably in March. But he powered through it, won the Legion Sports, and he placed top 10 at the Olympia. And that was one hell of an accomplishment. But here is the thing, that might not have been possible if the lineup was a bit more deeper, especially the way it was at the Olympia 2022. And especially how deep the lineup is turning out to be this year. But more important than that, Charles Griffin is seeing a glaring weakness in his physique right now, because that pec tear is really visible and he needs to address that. So 3 months into the off-season, his chest has started to look a lot better. So Charles is a very complete bodybuilder, especially after he implemented that vacuum in some of his front shots. He was extremely impressive last year. His conditioning was top-notch. Probably he was one of the most conditioned guy out there. And no one really thought that he would be able to overcome his genetic weakness. But he was able to do that. So give him another year, and I'm sure he will be back 100% better than ever. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.